And welcome to Peculiar Stars Talk Show, PSL Talk Show. And today we're talking about the pathway to practicing law. I'm going to see, I can't mute yourself, mute yourself. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for joining the show today. Today it's about pathway to practicing law in America. And we're having this show today because so many people, especially lawyers, have been asking that question as regards how can we practice even outside the country. I know there's so many pathways to relocating, there is the study routes, there is also the health and care, and so many other ones that we have discussed on PSL Talk Show. But I guess it's very important for us to talk about this law because practicing law is a very complex way. There's a very complex, okay, I'll just admit someone. It seems complex because you have to learn the laws of this other country that you're going into. And people have been having at the back of their mind that they don't want to travel, they don't want to relocate just because they don't know how to go about it. And they feel like it's hectic because they have to study all over again. And based on the fact that in their own country, they've done a lot of studying already and everything, and it's taking them years to have that degree, you know, to pass their bar and everything. And they're thinking about the cost, they're thinking about the stress, they're thinking about adult education and everything. So we have today Adisa Kareem, who is actually practicing law in America. Adisa Kareem studied law in Nigeria and relocated to the United Kingdom for his master's. And right now he's an immigration lawyer in America. And I'm so glad to have him here to come and share his experience. And so I'll just hand over to Adisa Kareem to do a bit of introduction about himself and also share a bit of experience as regards how he has been able to achieve that practicing law in America. How did you go about it? Thank you. You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, good morning, everyone, depending on where you are. It's 11 a.m. here. So if it's afternoon, good afternoon. My name is Adisa Kareem, like she rightly said. And I was born and raised in Nigeria. I went to University of Ilorin, then went to the Lagos Law School. Then not too long after that, migrated to the United Kingdom for my master's. Then here in the United States, passed the bar, and as an immigration attorney based in the United States, I'm actually in Texas. So it's really nice meeting and joining everyone here this morning. And I'm here for, I hope I will be able to answer most of your questions. Thank you. That's a brief introduction of myself.
Okay, thank you so much. We know that you're practicing and you are actually doing law in America. The first question is, how did you go about attending this feat?
That's a very interesting question. One, there has to be a very good determination, unbroken determination. That's the way I would like to classify it. If you come into America as a lawyer, qualified lawyer somewhere other than the United States, because it's a true federal system of government. So these are the things you need to take into consideration, right? So you have to apply, depend on the states that you are, you need to apply for the ability, the bar, the board of bar examiners, let me put it that way. For you, they're gonna assess you, and they're gonna determine if you actually qualify to sit for the exams. There are a lot of ways to go about it, you know, but if I get the question right, you said how did I achieve the feat? So that was the first thing you need to do. And based on your qualifications, your years of practice, and probably some of the other postgraduate studies you've actually attained, So they will take all that into consideration. And I need to quickly add this. It's different layers because if you're going via the academic route, that is, you have a master's, they can take that into consideration. So, but one thing you have to bear in mind is your master's must be taught in English, and it has to be a master's in law. Okay. And if you're going through the route of practicing wherever you're coming from, so you must have like 3 years post practice, post law school experience. Okay, and these are very dependent on the states you are. So for Texas, it's different. For California, for New York, so it depends on where you are in America. So.
So what you have just said is, if I, for example, I have studied BA law in Nigeria, and then went ahead to do like a master's in law in, let's say, Nigeria or another country, I can then come to the America, let's say, for example, Texas. I can apply straight into the law school, but they will do an interview for me first. Or is it that there is an application form, just like the process of applying to a master's program, whereby you just check online, apply, and I'm going to law school and like that? Or how does this actually work?
Okay, so I think we need to do a little more clarifications, okay?
Okay.
So, yeah, the first thing is you have law school issue, right? Just say that's a post university education,
Okay.
right? So the thing is, because you've already gone to law school, especially if your undergraduate level was actually taught in English. So because you've gone to law school, you don't have to go to law school in the United States of America.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So the choice is yours, like I said before, if you've actually had masters. So because you have masters, there's what you call ABA approved. Okay, that's American Bar Association approved. If they actually approve the school that you went to masters in, right, they could actually bring you on board. Then there's the for all lawyers in the United States of America. Maybe I should have said that first. My apologies. It's different from what we have like back home in Nigeria, okay, where once you finish your university, then you go to law school as a lawyer, then you start practicing. No, that's not how it's done here in America. In America, even if you go to Harvard or if you go to Yale, wherever you go, most of them, I would say most, because maybe some schools don't have law school, right? But most of them say, let's just say whole for purpose of convenience, right? They all have their law schools. Okay. Yeah, I mean, say you went to Epoma University in Nigeria, right? There will be for the Faculty of Law, after finishing that, they can go to Epoma Law School. You know what I'm saying? So most of the schools have their most of the universities have their law schools, right? But because you passed, you've done the exams and you passed out of the law school, you graduated out of the law school, doesn't qualify you as a lawyer. I mean, they call them JD. Okay, you can stop from there and start working. Okay, but if you want to be called an attorney, if you want to be a licensed attorney, it's a very independent board.
Oh, I get what you mean now.
Exactly. So it's an independent board. So what you're saying to this, say you're in Texas. I mean, I came to, say I'm in Texas and I want to write the Texas bar exam, right? It has nothing to do with the schools in America. It's the board that would actually assess what you have and say, okay, come on board, you're ready first.
Oh, yeah, that actually. So what are the requirements for joining this board or for applying to this board?
So like I said, say you're already a practicing lawyer, a foreign practicing lawyer, right? So once you come, like in Texas, that I know, excuse me, they ask for like 3 years experience post-core.
Okay.
Okay, because for Nigerians, like once you finish law school, you start practicing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
maybe the only thing you have to do, maybe you want to go to service here, but I mean, nobody recognizes that. So once you finish law school, so how many years of experience of practicing do you actually have? And do you have people that can actually say, yes, you actually work with them for this number of years? Okay, so
Yeah.
you are gonna submit your, all your credentials, right? They see your credentials, even from law school, that they will be sent independent of you. They'll send it to them from, it's not you that is going to submit it to them. So
Okay.
once you do all that, right, and say you haven't had your master's,
Mm-hmm.
you just been practicing since you've been called. So
Mm-hmm.
do you have, I think the minimum for most states, and that's why I said for United States, every state is different. Okay.
Okay.
But I think for most states it's 3 years
Okay.
post court bar.
Oh,
Then if you don't have that, say you just finished university, right? And you don't even want to practice, but you want to come to America, right?
mhm.
Then you would need to go to do your master's.
Yeah. Okay. So another question I was going to ask is, coming to this bar, just based on what you've just said, joining the bar in America, for example, Texas, can you apply for that from your own country, or you have to be within the country to get on board and submit all these requirements and say you want to practice in America? Or can you apply from outside the country?
Okay, yeah, you can apply from anywhere in the world. Okay. And
Okay.
I mean, back then when I was still a student writing the exams, right? I usually make this joke like, let's say like New York and California. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
New York actually don't need anybody living in America to come write its bar exams. It's
Okay.
all over the world.
Okay.
People flying in from different part of the world, you'll be surprised to write it. So,
Okay.
I mean, so it kind of gives you what it is to be an attorney in the United States of America. You can apply once they get you evaluated and they say, yes, you can come sit for the exam, right? You can be where you are right now. Just make sure you meet all the requirements, right? Once you've met all the requirements, you can fly in, get your visa, fly in, write it. Because I know most people as a matter of fact, I'll say a lot of people in the United Kingdom, they do that. They just fly in, write the bar, and they become a lawyer.
Okay. At this point, I would like to say welcome to everyone that's joined us so far. If you have any question, I'll give you time to actually ask your question shortly. But if you don't want to speak, you can actually drop your questions in the chat box and I'll read it out for our guests to actually attend to them as soon as possible. So there are some people on here that are actually thinking, oh, I don't mind actually going further to study law in America or maybe in Canada, for example. And they're thinking, what kind of law is viable? I know you're doing immigration law, but maybe litigation and some other parts of law. And they're thinking, what can I do at master's level? What advice would you like to give them?
I mean, I understand that because back from where we are, right? We just do everything. Okay. Yeah, we do everything. Once you're a lawyer, you can do oil and gas or wherever, just name it, right? But in the United States, it's different. You know, you cannot. I mean, I wouldn't say, but most lawyers can't do everything. Okay, because even for me, I'll say immigration because I do immigration more than I do say personal injury, right? But I've decided I'm not going to do anything that has to do with maybe criminal law, But usually you have to specialize, and the specialization you will realize it yourself. Because the people on the street are so knowledgeable that they ask you some questions, and once you start reading for 10 hours to give them answers, then you're gonna, okay, let me just narrow my scope. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
so that is one. Then if you want to come here, say you haven't had your master's. Yeah, I mean, a lot of schools depend here and in Canada. It's almost the same thing, just the same thing I've explained. If you need to you need to further your education, you can actually apply to school, and that is going to ease all the troubles of you having to come up with 3 years of practice, or having to even go to do masters in some other foreign jurisdiction, because most of the schools are ABA approved. And like I said before, ABA means American Bar Association approval. They already have it. And it kind of, it gives you a little inroad, makes it a lot easier for you to learn some of the law as compared to where you're coming from.
Okay. So at this point, I will throw the show out to everyone to ask question. So I will just do it like randomly. So I will call on, if I call you and you have a question, just unmute yourself. I know most of us are muted. And I'll call on Ayobami. If you have a question, kindly raise up your hands and just unmute yourself to ask your question. And I'll just give you 60 seconds to do that. And if not, just also let me know. You can unmute and just say you don't have a question.
No questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll call on Iretiayo if you have a question. Just unmute yourself if you don't have a question, and I'll just go on to the next person.
No questions, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you. Adebola, if you have a question. Okay. I'll just go to who's next. Kike Lomo, if you have a question, just unmute yourself and ask a question. I know some people don't realize they're muted. Okay.
No, I don't. I don't.
Thank you. Omotola Kayode, do you have a question? Okay, if you have a question, just maybe you didn't hear me before, you can actually raise up your hands by going to the reaction tab and just clicking on raise hands, and then it will alert me and I would call on you. T Akonde, thank you so much for joining. Do you have a question? Unmute yourself if you want to ask a question. No, thanks. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So what I was going to ask again is, so some of us might be actually thinking like remuneration wise, how viable is practicing law in America?
In that sense, I'll say lawyers and doctors, actually command very hefty pay, so it is very, very viable. But like most things, depends on the level of enthusiasm, the level of work you put in, because if you want to work with the states, I said the district attorney, that's what we call prosecutors in Nigeria, of course your remuneration will be what the state pays you. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to work as a contract attorney, or you want to work as personal injury attorney, depends on what you can actually bring in yourself or what your employer pays you. You know what I'm saying? So but any way you look at it, it opens a floodgate of opportunities for you. So, and it depends on your passion, and how flexible you can be to actually command your own pay. Depends on if you want to work for yourself or you want to go work for someone.
Okay, so when you said it depends on how flexible you had to command, and I'm thinking, is it that the salary package is not regulated, or are people being exploited? So how does that actually really work?
That's a good question, because you're a professional, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they will tell you it has to be within okay, I'll give you a general example. It has to be reasonable. Okay.
Okay.
But if I tell you I've schooled in England, I'm in America, and I have Nigerian experience, even if you want to throw up the Nigerian experience, right? I mean, if I'm a lawyer, just as someone that even went to the same school here, and they don't even have the experience that I have living abroad and going somewhere to school. You understand what I'm saying? So if I command more pay based on my experience, because I already know what you know here, because I live here, but you don't know what, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, yeah, not taking advantage of people, but it is what you call what's it called, your fee, whatever you call your fee, that's what it is. If you can't afford it, others will afford it, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's how it works.
So I've actually learned that so many people do like a lot of self-employed jobs in America, that's what pays. Like a lot, most lawyers are like self-employed in America because yes, they are able to like, get as much as they can. But there's some people that want to relocate and they're not actually like caught up, well, they're not actually like ready to go self-employed or entrepreneur or anything, and they're looking for 9-to-5 jobs, and they still want to practice law. What kind of jobs can they look into? And is it possible, is there a pathway for them to come to America still and still do the things that they want to do? Now, it might take, for example, it might take the time for them to like pass the exam, but they're looking to maybe to apply for a job and come through like, I don't know, maybe highly skilled, or is that something like that? So what kind of jobs can they apply for, and where should they be looking at?
Okay, you've asked me like 2 questions in one. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take it in layers. Okay, the first one first. Yeah, excuse me. The first question, if I got you right, was if people can actually work for employer as against them. Yeah, of course. I mean, as a matter of fact, that's how we set up. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it should be. Ought to be. Because once you finish, there are a lot of things, like I said before, that you can do. And there are so many employers of labor, especially in the United States, okay? So, I mean, you'll be on a salary, like I said, you'll be on a salary. And for, say, if you're very bright, you have the big 4, that's what they call them, like,
Okay.
like the Einstein Young, Price Water Cooper, you know what I'm saying? Those will snap you like this. You know what I'm saying? And they put you on a very, very good package.
Okay.
Good package will be relative. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if you want to do that, you can. And even aside from that, there are a lot of things that because it's a very developed world, right? Before people go to courts, right, all the document that you need to submit to courts has to have been, proofread, verified, and sorted out by attorneys, right? So
Okay.
if you are one of the attorney who does, we call it e-discovery here, right? You
Okay.
can work from home. Nobody knows what you're doing. They just send you what to do and you do it. You can do that. It's 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but because, like I said earlier, like, if say, I'm just giving a figure right now, okay, say you're gonna give me $1 to do your job for you, right? And
Okay.
you're gonna get $10 for me doing the same job, So
Okay.
that's why most attorneys will look like, okay, we're not going to do that. And there are risks to that though, because if you want to do your own thing, can you actually make money? And can you actually be flexible? Do you actually have the clients to pay you?
Okay.
So but like, I'll come back. The way it's set up is for you to go get a job. And there are a lot of jobs out there for attorneys to get.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. I just want to
Okay.
say at this point as well that for anyone looking to contact Adisa Kareem, I've actually put his phone number in the chat box and also his email address. and I've actually got his consent to do that. So you can contact him via email or also call him for any of your advice on consultancy purpose. And I've got 2 questions from Ayobami. He says, can the 3-year PQE as a lawyer be from anywhere in the world or certain countries? I want you to answer that first before I go to the next question.
The PQE, if you break it down for me, where did you get it? You know, I need to know where you got the PQE from. Did she say another country?
So I know that Ayobami is in Nigeria, but if Ayobami can unmute himself and ask the question.
Yes, another country. Yeah. I mean, the post-qualification experience, remember you said 3 years. I mean, the average for most states is 3 years. So just wanted to confirm if that PQE has to be in the US or to be from any country.
Okay, Obama, thanks for the clarification. Yeah, for the postqual, yeah, if you have to have your postqual, it could, because it might be difficult for you to use another country, because if you come into another country, you are not allowed, like here in America, you're not allowed to practice law if you don't have the license. You understand what I'm saying? So it's called unauthorized practice of law. Okay, UPL. So you could get in trouble for that. But if you have it from the country you're coming from, okay, that's the best thing that can happen to you. And I must quickly add, you're probably not going to hear this from other lawyers, right? But the closest thing you can do there in America, it's called like you guys are, and it was one of the questions that the moderator asked me before. It's called law-related experience.
Okay.
If you come here and you have law-related experience, you know, whether that will take you very far, I don't know. But that's the kind of job you should be looking for if you want to work and you're still pursuing your law career. Okay. Hopefully, I hope I answered your question.
All right, Bobby, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the second question is, can someone from a Nigerian university apply to the bar without necessarily undergoing their master's in the US? I think you answered that earlier, but you can take it going again.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
it wasn't so clear when you explained, so I just wanted to get clarification.
Oh, sure. I mean, that's why we're here. Okay. Don't be faced to ask any question. We can always repeat it, please. So yes, and like I said, yeah, you can do that. Like once you can be in Nigeria and you don't have to. Okay, you don't have to actually come to school here or even do anything here. You don't have to.
All right, thank you so much. We've got new people that have joined us. Olufemi Ogunubi, do you have any question just before we round up? You can unmute yourself to ask your question.
Thank you. No, thank you. No,
All
thank
right.
you.
Okay, thank you so much. We've come to the end of the show today. And like I said earlier, if you want to contact Kareem, Adisa Kareem, you can just contact him at, I'm just going to get the email address again. I put it in the chat box, and that is kareemadisa@gmail.com. And you can also give him a call at, the phone number is +168 2808 9485. And yeah, just say from Peculiar Stars and you attended one of the seminars, and you can give him a call for consultancy purpose and just ask any question you want. And thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, sorry, please.
Yes.
Sorry, please. Sorry, Diola. Sorry to yeah, I just want to ask. So if you want to say you want to register or you want to start your journey now in, say, Texas, how do you go about it? Do you go to the Bar Council website, or how do you go about it? If you just want to start now, what's the very first, let's say 2-3 steps for you to take to start the job?
Okay, did you get the question?
I did get the question. Yeah, she just want to know how to start. Okay, that's a very good question. whether Texas, whether Michigan, whether Oklahoma, whether New York, okay? If you want to start, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to the board of law examiners. Board of Law Examiners in the states. Okay, so I mean, they could call it something different, but it routes you to what their requirements are once you go, like, say, like New York Board of Law Examiners, Texas Board of Law Examiners. Okay, so those are the ones that actually conduct the bar exam. And like I said before, we have, I mean, I know tons of people, okay, that actually finished law school here, that went to university and go to law school, and some of them can't even pass the bar exams because it's a different body that sends that, you know. So Board of Law Examiners, they put the states. Texas Board of Law Examiner, New York Board of Law Examiner, Board of Law Examiners, you get they should route you to their requirements.
Okay, and thank you so much. And then we'll just say we'll round up here. If you have any further questions, honestly, just email kareemadisa@gmail.com. It's also in the chat box. His phone number is also in the chat box. And also, if anybody has missed this show that we have done here, it's going to be uploaded on YouTube at Peculiar Stars Lifestyle. Just watch out for it, and you can share with your friends. Or maybe you forgot the phone number, just email. Just go to Peculiar Stars Lifestyle and comment and say you attended one of the show and you would like to see the recording, and I will send you an email and send you all the requirements that you need or contact details that you need. And just right now, I will just say thank you. And don't forget to subscribe at our YouTube at Peculiar Stars Lifestyle. Thank you so much, and bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.